1, 2. Hey folks, we're live. Running a little bit late, I do apologise. Had to make myself a cup of tea. For, you know what, we need a cup of tea. Helps you through anything. Now see all the bots are loaded. Awesome, SeriBot, Streamlabs, Restream bot. Got the overlay expert. All the automated things are loaded nicely. We need to get some music though. We need to get some music on the go. I need to do some Googling. There's one or two things I need to work out today. But, yeah, let's see. Restream is restreaming. Lovely. Greetings, human. Greetings, Jeffrey. How are you? Good to see you. YouTube is YouTubing. Awesome. Okay, she'll keep that there. Good. Glad to hear. Let's find some nice music. Hopefully no music that will get me copyright strikes. I did play those lo-fi Final Fantasy remixes. Did get a couple of flags. Not like bad flags, but it flagged up that I was playing stuff. So let's not do that. Epic. Epic indeed. 80s Lo-Fi City. How about this? Let's turn that down my ear a bit. There we go, just something to stop the stream being silent. Now, let's do a quick Google, because I wanted to sort out this screen sizing. Let's have a quick look in Unity. Unity... Hope everyone's had a good week so far. We've made it to Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. And it's nice to remind ourselves that we have made it halfway. So edit project settings. The size will be remembered between sessions, so you don't want to have to resize it. So screen.width, screen.height. Okay, let's have some settings. Let's switch over to the main view. Not that you guys will be able to see much any different, because all the pop-up menus do not show. So project settings. This might be a quick one. Project settings, edit project settings. Main project settings, player. Oh, okay, this is where I found some of the settings before. Resolution and presentation. So it is full screen mode is full screen window. Maximized window or windowed. Okay. So So it should start up in the windowed mode with allowing you to full screen it. So let's try that. We'll save it and we will build and run it. I know there's some games out there which allows you to select which monitor it's running on. So it says, oh, it's currently running on monitor 1, and you select monitor 2 and the whole game switches, which I think is awesome. So you don't have to have it on your primary monitor, you just go select monitor 2, select monitor 3. Yes. Okay. So it is now right, it's now in the window. You can't quite see the window because the actual top bar of the window is not being captured, but it is there. It actually has my little logo followed by revolt overthrow. It's got minimize, so I can minimize it. I can put maximum. Can I drag it? I can drag it. So I can drag it to like this window. I can't maximize it. I can only just drag the window. Okay, so we need to do some more things. Now the interesting thing, as far as everyone who's watching on the stream is concerned, nothing's changing, but I'm actually moving this around the screen and OBS just captures wherever it is. Okay, that's a start. It starts up in window, but I want to be able to let's hit play. Yeah, so I want to be able to like minimize, maximize, and make full screen if I want to. So let's quit. See what other options we have here. Whether it needs to be a button, or is it actually just in the project? Let's go back to project settings. So full screen mode is windowed. But how do we switch between full screen and window? Exclusive full screen. What's exclusive full screen? Default was native resolution. Let's save that and try again. Let's just see what these settings are. Build and run. Okay, so that seems to have gone. So is that full screen? If I want to okay, so that goes full screen, but it doesn't give me any option to resize it. Let's go back to project settings. Maximized window. Let's try maximize window. Save that. If I have to do it through code, I have to do it through code. But it'd be nice if you can actually just set it within Unity and just does the thing. Oh, I just lost the background. Okay, so kind of there. I got resizable window. Was that not an option for me? Let's try that again. Project settings, windowed. Resizable window. There's a tick box. Allow full screen switch for single interface. Single instance. What's that? Capture single. So it's windowed. Okay, let's do this once more. Save, build, and run. So this gives me a resizable window. Ah, nice. Okay. So can I go full screen? Yes. Can I then resize it? I can. I can get some very weird. I can make the game quite narrow. Options. If I hit play, what do we get? Ah, so we have it chopped off. We can still play with controls, but we can't see the control on the side. Ultra widescreen. So I might have to do something with the UI. Because that's got like an ultra wide perspective now. So it's reliant on the fact that it's that wide across. Okay, let's have a look at the UI now, because in theory, no matter what it is, I would like the UI to kind of move. So we've got the first part. We can have it in the window, and we can move it to whatever screen we want to make it full screen. Not an issue. But the problem is the UI is not shifting with the screen size. Because if I select like different resolutions, interesting. I wonder then, can I get these controls to show on the screen? It's probably because I've put it inside of there, haven't I? Yeah. That makes life a bit awkward. That's probably why I kept them separate. For this exact reason. So on the hierarchy we've got Play UI, which is fine. But because Play UI is set to stay in the middle of the screen, it always kind of, it won't move anywhere, whereas Power Meter I put to the side of the screen. But it's only to the side of Play UI, not to the side of everything. Same with game controls, top left status. So I try to be clever by hiding the whole of Play UI. But that actually hinders resizing the screen. There's no way I can get around that then. I can still have Play UI doing stuff here. But anything that has Play UI in there has to have everything else doing stuff. So let's have a look at Play UI script. Play UI. So set all active true. So we can still have it doing its thing then. We just can't have them as child objects. They have to be sibling objects. They can't be child objects, otherwise they just won't move with the screen. Okay, let's yes. Let's yeah, these three things I'm gonna have to pull out. Can we detach this as a prefab? Unpack. Cool. Right, let's try power meter. So that let's do that. So in theory now, if I change any of these resolutions, even that weird one, yeah, they all kind of stay in their respective areas of the screen now. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Let's see if the game still plays. I've not broken the UI elements. Shouldn't do. Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know if there's any other way of like grouping these together. But let's give this a go. Let's music off. That's all still functioning nicely, but I want to see if I complete the game, will all of that disappear as before? If it does, we'll do a build and run, and we'll do the whole window changing size. And hopefully that will then kind of cover off what you mentioned in your feedback. So I think so feedback can make big screen on the screen on Windows moving dragging in monitor. Yeah, select monitor would be quite a cool thing, sure. Yeah, so I'm hoping what I've done now fixes that feedback. But I'd like to do some kind of graphical options. Because at the moment it's just audio options, and they're not great as they are. So I need to normalize the audio levels, but it's mainly because I'm not entirely sure if I want to keep the music for this or find better music. But at the very least at this stage I should find a comfortable volume, and then whatever I replace it with needs to match that same volume. Finding the last one, and seriously I'm considering adding highlight the last remaining squares feature, which shouldn't be too hard to implement. Just do like a search for all squares that have got a tick box of false as to whether they've been hit or not. Okay, let's zoom in. Yeah, a bit lower. A bit lower still. I think that's all okay there. Cool, all that UI disappears. Play again, next level. Go play again, that comes back. Right, so we need to do that for level 2 as well. Scenes, level 2. Canvas, play UI. Break the prefab. Move all this. So this is why I didn't want to go too far into making multiple levels, because this becomes an issue. And then I have to go through all the different levels to fix them all. But that looks okay. And I did start oh, well, that's not loading properly. Oh, so on the wrong scene, there we go. Yeah, I did start trying to make a small village for the cutscene. So make like a little cutscene animation with some people. And just have these people like kind of discussing their revolt. And then wheeling the trebuchet into level 1, and then switch scenes to level 1 to then play level 1. But I need to decide what the scene looks like. I quite like the fact that all of these buildings came in the medieval castle pack that I bought, and this little market store is quite cute. I like it. So let's pick some random buildings. You know, let's try and make a village. Just enough that covers the camerascape, so as the camera's kind of following through and go, hey, you guys upset with the Lord of the Manor? Yeah, me too. Let's go do something. But that's something I need to work on, but it's not important right now. What is important is making sure this game works as it is before we add anything else. So save that. And let's do a build and run and see if we can like resize it, have all the UI in the right places. And that will hopefully cover that off. Oh, looks like it keeps the UI on the screen. No matter how much I resize the window down to like silly, like almost like tablet dimensions, you can still play it technically as a tablet. As long as you hold your tablet up in portrait. If you hold it in landscape, it doesn't matter, it's already in the right colour dimension. So one thing I've not tried yet is actually exporting to Android and see if I can play it on my tablet or phone. Because I think it should be simple enough, not to require too much from an Android device. So I should be able to make an Android version. I would like to say I can make an iPhone version, but with the restrictions that Apple has, it's going to be hard. An Android version, I can even put an Android version on my Discord for people to just copy to their phones. You can't do that with iPhones unless you jailbreak them, as far as I'm aware. So you have to have any apps you put on an iOS device has to go through the Apple Store. To my knowledge, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they have to. The only way you can get something on an iOS device is through the Apple Store. Whereas yeah, Android you can put any dodgy rogue app you can find. So we need to vary that sound a little bit more. Well, the only other feedback that I want to work on is to see if there's a way for Microsoft not to flag this game as a potential issue. You know, that blue box that pops up going, we're not sure about this, don't know if you want to run this or not. It looks a bit dodgy to me. We could probably do with moving these two buttons down a little bit so they're not so... I know this is an extreme resolution for playing a game, but I think probably need to bring those two buttons down a bit more. Oh yeah, I've added a fountain. There's no... Oh, trick shot. Nice. Yeah, this fountain again was in the pack. Like, literally the only things in this, apart from the UI, that I have made has been the panda and the pumpkin. Everything else you see in this came in that one pack. So it's quite a good pack. Like, I'd highly recommend getting something like it. Unfortunately, it was a humble bundle, so to get the pack now would cost you quite a bit. This humble bundle, put it back on again. But you got all these like buildings. You got all the castle, modular castle pieces, like bits of wall, bits of tower. So you can actually build your own castle out of pieces. And you can build your own village. I thought that's a pretty decent asset pack just to build something quite quickly. Obviously, the ideal would be you won't release a game using the assets as they are, But as far as this game's concerned, I'm not going to necessarily sell this game, so I'm not going to put effort into the assets for a game that I'll potentially be giving away for free. And if I do charge, it's going to literally be charging for my time and coding, and not the value of the assets. Whereas if I built the entire thing, you go, well, I put up many days, many hours, many weeks. I'm going to want something for this. Yeah. The only thing is, with this kind of resolution, you can't see the top of the buildings. But oh, a little bit more. Yay, bells. Wow, who's those? All those emotes. But this, Bilsa. Bill Saber. Ah, yeah, you mentioned him before. There's some pretty cool emotes there. Rapper that also streams, yeah. Okay, I'm happy this works. So, that's mainly your feedback covered then. I would still like to have it where it says select monitor and you'll just jump to the monitor. That'd be pretty cool. I did see something earlier, read something earlier regarding that. But I shall keep that in mind. At the moment it's covered, you can have it, it's in the window, you just drag it, you make it full screen. Not a problem. Now I would like to see if there's a way of making sure Windows doesn't flag it. This is actually the only one I like from his emotes. Okay. Is that because of the horns? It looks like horns. Yeah, cool. He has horns IRL as well. Oh wow, that's in the pig. Cool, yeah. Cool to see that. That's a Unity game flagged as virus. How do we? Any XE should be considered a possible malware, and this is why platforms were created. You have no choice but to go through them. Steam, WebGL, or ask your customer to trust you blindly. No, later. I ended up using some stuff from GitHub. The code is available, reviewed by me and the community. Cool. See that message. Oh wow. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like it. That's awesome. Oh, so it says code sign X's. How do I code sign the Xe? Then how to use sign tool to sign your Windows app packages so they can be deployed. Sign tool is part of Windows Software Development Kit, All Windows app packages must be digitally signed before they can be deployed. While Microsoft Visual Studio 2012 and later can sign an app package during its creation, packages create using the app packager tool from aren't signed. Okay, so if I sign it, so when I make the game, if I then sign it with the sign tool, that should hopefully stop Windows saying, I'm not sure about this. Command line crypto API tool that digitally signs files, verify signature in file and timestamps. When you select the best signing certificate, this option is not present. /A. So operation. Sign certificate, sign digital sign the files whose names are spared. So I'm guessing it'd be sign tool slash or sign tool sign slash /A followed by the name of the game. Okay, so I can do multiple things at the same time. Okay, I have to give that a go. So we start distributing this without going through a platform. Like people on Reddit suggested, like if you release a game through Steam, that Microsoft warning that pops up when you try to run the game is not there because Steam is handling it. But if you want to just throw a game out there, then you have to go through extra steps to get Microsoft to kind of back down a bit. But it's good to know I might have to do that with stuff at work because the applications I have at work come up with the same thing. So I'll keep that page open. Cool, okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. So it's not necessarily something I need to do in Unity, it's more of something you do afterwards. Cool. What else should we do then? So I'm happy, like level 1 is level 1. I can improve it, I can change it, I can add stuff in. Level 2, I could change around. Did you get as far as hitting the barrels? Did you see anything pop up? Maybe I need to have something pop up to say barrel unlocked or something. Let's go to scripts. And just lock all of those. Oh yeah, we need to make the sound effects a bit more. There you go, we can't actually select anything now. Unless of course we hit the barrels, and then cool, barrels an option now. And we do need to have different sounds. That's one thing we definitely need to do. So this is still things we need to do before we make more levels, really. Whee, look at that. I do love the physics in this. So I can just ricochet stuff off. I know that's a mechanic we decided potentially to use in later levels, that you have to bounce off of something to actually hit something. Maybe you can have like a special unlock that for like bouncing off the fountain. There may be some bonus levels where it's just like knocking things down, kind of like Angry Birds style. Right, so as far as the sounds go, sound effects. Sound effects script. Let's close all these. So I'm happy with all that. So barrel holder. This is the whole code for actually unlocking the barrel as a as an option in the game. So sound effects. So here's the pitch range. So we want to kind of change that maybe to 0.3 to 5, 6, 7, 8. No. So that's the pitch range in there. So 0.3 to 1.8 is a range. Let's see how that sounds. Really appreciate the share on Facebook and the kind words, by the way. Oh, that's okay. No, I thought as you shared it to Facebook, it's kind of like out there. So as many people as possible need to hear it. And I do have quite a few friends and people I know generally that would like to hear it. You can just about see the pitch slider moving every time it hits. Maybe I need to do something a bit more because that only moves slightly. So to make sure it varies, I might have to do some more fancier maths to go, well, the number can't be any, the difference between the previous pitch and the new pitch can't be any less than a certain number, to make sure each time it hits, the sound is distinctively different from the last.
History will remember your contribution.
Hey Cubes, thank you for the host, or the raid. I still think I'm a host. Thank you very much for the raid on Twitch there. Yo yo yo, how's it going? Red Aggro, nice to see you. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Welcome all of Cube's raiders. Welcome in. Hey, how's it going, Cubes? How's your stream? I saw you were live. Didn't get a chance to actually drop in. I saw you working on was it working on your environment? Sort of your level builder kind of thing? Pretty good, glad to hear. Yeah, I managed to sort of like bring the stream up briefly, but wasn't able to kind of drop in. Building system for my game, that's the one. Awesome. So is that for like the crafting and all that? Build prototype, I guess. Oh yeah, it has to start somewhere. It's been tough, but did a lot today. Nice, well done. Yeah, it's good to feel like you've made progress, like you've achieved something. Like if you spend hours doing something and you look back at it and go, well, I don't feel like I've done a lot. I can't see that I've done a lot here. But you think the amount of things you've had to work out, change, go back, test, go, actually, you've done a lot of work. It just doesn't visually look any different. But all that work adds up, and it means the final product will work better. Yeah. Yeah, some days you just feel like you're just not really done anything beneficial, but you have. Like some of the streams working on this, they go, well, what did I do all stream? Apart from chat to people, chatting to people is cool. What did I actually do? But a lot of it is talking through problems as well. Like, I might not have fixed the problem, but I've at least talked through it and kind of considered options and ruled out options and go, well, I've narrowed down what I need to do in order to achieve something, and even though I've not put that into practice or applied it, I've at least done some working out on paper, so to speak. And then next time I can apply that with that thought process already worked out. So I always consider that you're still working even if you're not touching the keyboard half the time. You still can be doing a lot of work. True indeed. Yeah, so let's come out of that. So we're working on the sound pitch at the moment. So I'm picking a random float number between 0.3 and 1.8 and applying that to the pitch of the rock cracking sound. Now I want to guarantee that whatever gets picked here has at least enough of a value difference to previously what P is prior to it being assigned. Otherwise it just sounds like it's the same sound. This prototype has come a long way from writing on paper to how it is. Still has a lot to go, but hey, feeling great about it. I gotta go eat dinner now, but I'll join later. Okie dokie, Cubes. I hope you enjoy your dinner. Hope it's tasty and nutritious. Fills you with joy, and I will see you shortly. Good luck with your quest. Thank you, cubes. Yeah. So P. So I'm assigning P here. I could make it a private up here. Now the sound effects. So this is running. This sound effects is attached to. It is attached to that object, so it is a constant. It made me sad, by the way. YouTube half my views, probably deleted all the bots. Oh no. Oh, that's a shame. I know I end up sort of playing your videos 1 or 2 times more. Whether it kind of discounts like multiple views by the same user. 200 plus real people like it though. That's brisk. That's awesome. Thought it was 400. Yeah. Now at least I would say 10 of those were mine. If it's counting multiple of the same person. And if it isn't, that's 200 different people, which is awesome. Private float. Pitch. Old. Private float. Pitch. New. Go pitch old equals pitch new, and we'll lose that, and we'll go pitch new is equal to a new random, and we'll go pitch new which is played, but we need to do some mathematics here. So we shall start both of these as 0 or 1. Start both as 1. So we want to do something here. We want to see that the pitch is at least 0.1 different. That should be enough. So if pitch new minus I wonder if you can just find the difference without doing the whole minus. See if there's any fancy mathematics we can do. C# positive difference between numbers. Positive difference between numbers. Of course, ABS. Awesome. Math.abs. Be maths. Math F. There you go, Math F. So mathf.abs returns absolute value. Now, that's what it stands for, absolute. I never really knew that. I've known ABS as a function for ages. I didn't know that it stands for absolute. So, if you put a number in between these brackets of mathf.abs, it's guaranteed to be a positive number. So if you put -1 in those brackets, it returns 1. You put 1 in those brackets, it returns 1. You put -1.5 in those brackets, it returns 1.5. It basically just removes the minus if there is. If there isn't a minus, it doesn't do anything. So it doesn't matter whether pitch new is bigger or smaller than pitch old. Whatever the difference between the two are, make it a positive number and tell me, is it less than 0.1? And then I can see if it is, just add it to it. Could you pick a favourite between the two songs? Oh, that's a hard. Because they're both good for different reasons. Like, let's stop this one for a moment. We'll just bring them up. Because I can give you some live critique right now. So, Shadow Crawler, I like the vocal. So I'll just play this if you don't mind. So, Shadow Crawler definitely sounds more techy. Because I feel the sound's a bit more in the mid-range. But then the lower end is brought in with the vocal. So it's probably closer to probably industrial metal, I suppose, in that sense. A little bit trance. Okay, so that's half of Shadow Crawler. Now, Torn Apart. It's a bit more of a rounded track, I'd say. It's got a good range of frequency, so it starts in a good balance. You can hear the low end coming in and little bits of high end. So it feels more balanced. And you've got the guitars with the synth. So you've got elements of kind of like synth rock coming through there. And more traditional kind of sort of dubstep wobbliness. But it's still quite industrial. I definitely like the production more on Torn Apart. Like, I can hear, so it feels fuller, if that makes sense. It feels like there's, all the sound is kind of like sort of got a better production on it. Yeah, I'd say Torn Apart is probably, to me, feels better. Like, if I had to pick one, both very good tracks. I love the vocal on the first one, but I think as an actual track, I'd say Torn Apart is feels a better, well produced track. Which, if it being your second one, you would have learned from the first one to help produce an even better track a second time. Okay, technically the other way around. Okay, yeah, because you made the other one first. Yeah, yeah, maybe sort of, maybe some production tweaks you can do on the other one, and that kind of brings it into the same level. But I think, yeah, Torn Apart to me as a whole, I like a little bit better. Made Shadow Crawler first, saw it as a demo, and then made the other one and released. Got good reviews on demo from friends and still released, but did do a final mix later. Okay. Yeah, I think Shadow Crawler, I like the sounds in Shadow Crawler, but I feel maybe it's something not quite sitting. It feels a little bit flatter compared to Torn Apart. I definitely like the full body of Torn Apart, where I can just hear the instruments kind of sitting there and feeling the drums kind of like pushing up from underneath. But I do really like the vocal in Shadow Crawler. Like, that's proper kind of heavy metal sound. And then back to lo-fi. But it's very promising. Both tracks are very promising for what you can produce. Cool, thank you for the feedback. Yeah, hopefully it's not too critical, but it's that enjoyment of listening to the music. Like, yeah, I love the feel of Torn Apart, like everything about it. Want to evolve into darker and harsher. Oh yes. Yeah, I feel that that's gonna be. It's gonna be. I love darker and harsher music, which is a bit weird if I start making music again. It's going to be very hard to produce music under the name Hug Junkie, because this name does not suggest dark, harsh music, unless it's in kind of some sort of horror, huggy wuggy. Not coming in for hugs as a big fluffy teddy bear, but something that's going to engulf you and pull you down to hell. Death Step, I learned about Death Step subgenres called Tear Out and one called Minotori. Ooh, obsessed with both. Like Death Step, I've heard before. Tear Out. Like some of my breakbeat tracks I've got on vinyl, supposedly have Tear Out elements in them. But I'm not sure it's the same as the Death Step Tear Out. It is an element of dubstep and drum and bass, I think. Where it's like sort of just kind of getting a sound and really kind of yeah, it's yeah, really harsh sound. So it might be might be a similar kind of reference. Where you sort of, yeah, you kind of like really stretching out the sounds and kind of like making it a bit more growly. But in typical electronic stuff, it's more like an electronic bassy growl as opposed to what you could do with metal and subgenres. But yeah, you're producing stuff that I would listen to a lot. Right, let's see how this sounds. I don't think I actually... No, I didn't actually give it anything. Ah, distracted. Right, stop that. What I was going to do... So if this changes not much, the new pitch needs to plus equals 0.1f. So I just need to add a little bit to it just to make it a bit different. And then see what other tweaks. Because I would like to actually get this experience as kind of pleasurable for the player as possible. If we're listening for sounds, let's just pause that. Now that wasn't much different from the last one. Maybe 0.1 is not enough of a variance. So if it's less than 0.1, go less than 0.2, add 0.2. So it does mean if that is like lower, it should at least push it the other way. Because the only thing to consider is that if it is just under 0.1 in the other direction, adding 0.1 makes it pretty much the same, which is kind of defeats the entire purpose. Unless I do something else to check which direction it is, because that pitch didn't change by much. Okay, let's do another if. If pitch new is less than pitch old. Then we want to minus that. Else, we want to add to it. So that means it should push it further in the direction that it is, rather than kind of bring it back towards the center again. Okay, that seems to be better. The pitch variation is definitely yeah, now I do. Right, what I could do with doing is having separate sounds for different projectiles. So you've got debris break as a rock hit, but that needs to probably needs to have a list of sounds that I can bring in and swap that out with different sounds depending on what you pick. So I probably need to have a scriptable object that I store the rock that I've selected, and then that allows me to pull back the sounds file based on the rock that is selected. I suppose you can even have the different meshes in there as well. Because the only thing with the rock is that not all the meshes are at 0, 0, 0 because of their size. Some of them have to have been adjusted to kind of sit nicer within the boundary. So I can't just insert at 0, 0, 0. It's not going to work like that. So I might still need to have them in there. We do have the rock launch script. This is doing a lot of heavy work, this is. So your rock holder. So rock that's itself. It's also got the trebuchet in there. So again, if I built this from scratch differently, I would have this built the other way round a little bit. Like I would have the rock only being a rock, and I would have the trebuchet probably doing everything else, Now to kind of pass the information to the rock, as opposed to the rock kind of dealing with it all. But the trebuchet was added afterwards, so the rock had to deal with it all. So it's still dealing with it, which is fine. And it works for now, it's just not the cleanest solution. The trebuchet is actually inside the whole pivoting along with the camera. Because all the trebuchet has to worry about is itself. That's all it is. Yeah, it is just itself. It rotates around the rock. The camera deals with the reticle. So yeah, it's a little bit backwards in places, but it's not going to affect anything else. I just need to kind of retrofit a little bit of coding. While we're doing that, let's put the music back on. Let's make a scriptable object so we can store this information. We might be able to detach some things that are going on. Now, what do we have already? Don't want to be naming something that's already rock launch. Probably rock. What's that? That is projectile lock status. Rock launch. I suppose it'd be projectile selection. So what's that? That's projectile lock status, projectile button, projectile selection. So that's for the menu. I suppose as it's rock, I know I've got two different names for the same thing, but it could be just what would it be? Rock attributes. Just realising maybe you could have me since you DJ a lot, but there is one Excision EP I don't have a 320 BPM, maybe a 1000. Ooh, maybe. What's the name of the EP? Excision Existence. I might have that. I might have that. I shall have a look. I do have a couple of Excision EPs on CD. I played them to death. Epic. I might not have that one, but I do have a couple on CD. So if I have them on CD, I can rep them.
Epic.
Let's make a note of that. Excision. Excision Existence. That's the EP. I can see songs. Is that the artwork for it? If it is, I'm pretty sure I've got that one. Excision and downlink existence EP. I'll check. Yeah, I'll definitely check. Do you have it? I recognise it. I'll have to check for the CDs. But if I do, I shall rip it.
Epic.
Epic. Oh, 13 years ago it was released, apparently. Menu DJ stream again. Now with me producing stuff, I'm in the mood for that. Yeah, I'd love to do like a dark dubstep, death step kind of DJ mix. It probably would get flagged instantly on YouTube, so I might have to do it on Twitch and maybe in Discord. Be right back. Gotta walk dog. Okie dokie. Yeah, I'm feeling if certain DJ sets that I would like to do, it might have to be Discord exclusive. So I'd have I do have got a room set up? Yeah, I got a rave room set up in my Discord. So I'd probably have to, if I do live stream, I'd have to live stream to Twitch without the music, just the microphone. And then actually stream the music into my Discord so it doesn't get flagged. So it would have to be a Discord exclusive party, but of course everyone's invited. Gets around being flagged and whatnot. Yes, let's make a new script. Shall we call this one? This was the problem, is it? Rock. Rock detail, rock selection, rock. Supposed to be called rock, I suppose. Yeah, it needs to be rock something. What is it? It's a rock. So what's it holding? It's holding what rock is currently selected. It is holding the audio files for the rock. Anything else to do with the rock? Attributes, I suppose rock attributes. Rock attributes. Let's open that. Rather than mono behavior be scriptable object, and of course it will be create an asset menu. There it is. I don't think we need any of those. So first of all, need to be able to store the currently selected rock. Now, how am I currently looking at that? Is it just a text? So it's rock launch. current rock, current rock. So it is a game object, current rock. Current rock is stored as a game object. I could probably take that out of here, link the scriptable object to it, and it'll be stored directly in there. So let's grab that and go public current rock. So that's going to hold the current rock. So the way that's working with get current rock is looking at what game object is active. So that's a bit of a hack, a bit of a workaround, because you don't want to have a game object active to know which one you want to use. You just want to be able to have it. So this should help, hopefully mean I will be able to work this a little bit better. Because at the moment it's just going through all the rocks children to see which one is currently active. And then saving it. And with this, it's just going, well, set it active, and then saving it there, and then setting it false, because you can't save it if it's not active. So this will probably still have to apply. So you have to grab it by the transform. So if it's equal to rock, set them all as false. I could save their locations as well. Which means they don't have to be loaded, but having them loaded means it doesn't have to load them each time. So let's for and against here. But at least working out this code's been useful. I could use it in the future for some reason or other. At least I've worked something out. It might not be the best way of doing it, but this could be useful. Just thinking how far I can go with this based on what I want to do. So as it is, I'm using the hierarchy as basically a selector. So the hierarchy on the side here becomes the storage. So well, all these things are just ready to go, and all it's doing is just activating, deactivating them, which is fine. But if I want to then be able to select something but also bring in information about it, that information being stored externally and not against each of these, because these meshes have nothing attached to them, they're just a mesh, nothing fancy, they don't have any code, don't react, they're just a mesh. So these could be loaded separately via a scriptable object and just brought in to sit inside this holder. And when they're brought in, they could be brought in with all the attributes assigned. But on the flip side, having all of these here means they are kind of pre-loaded and you're not having to load in the mesh each time you change it out. But for how small they are, it's not loading a lot of stuff. The downside of that is that these do have different transform attributes that I've adjusted to make it work. So these would have to have these transform attributes applied by default. So that feels like it's working itself. So I think for now, we store what we're using out of these, and we just have a separate listing of things that are associated. But of course there's an opportunity for these things to fall out of sync, unfortunately. So let's just put audio clips into here. So audio clip, sound effect, rock 1. And for every rock we add, we'll just have to add another one into here. There is 8 rocks, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 rocks. And the good thing of this code, despite it being a little bit probably less what's the word? Elegant, I suppose, in some ways. Less elegant as it could be. It does make it universal. I'm back. Welcome back. Because this only relies on the fact that I name any rock with rock underscore as the first 5 characters, and I can add any rock. Not an issue. I forgot to tell you, I sound nudes. Oh no. I have to cancel the whole stream now. Yeah, so this will work no matter what. So that in itself is a problem because I've made this completely universal. Which it's good in some ways, that doesn't matter. But now I want to start attaching things based on that. I have to have a thing that isn't universal in order to kind of get more out of it. I sell emotes. I also sell emotes of Jeffrey Nudes. Hey Lisa, how's it going? Hope you're having a good week. That's advanced, that is. New Jeffrey emotes. Yeah. Yeah, there's... there is a way around this. There is a way. But it can get complicated very quickly. So, the way around this is that I could make a rock object, like a standardized rock object that has a mesh, has a sound, has any other attributes. And then I attach the different meshes into that as separate objects. And whenever it's activated, I can then pull the sound file from the rock itself. Like the rock will hold its own sound file. I could do that. But in doing so, I then have to load that sound file from the rock into the sound effect processor. But I could still do that via the... code I'm writing though. It's just really where the audio file is stored. So it could be the current rock and the current audio. And then it just sends whatever current audio is. Now, if I do it the way I was going to do it, am I going to want to change it anyway? In which case I might as well do it the way I want it to start with. Or if I'm not going to change it and I'm going to be happy, or at least comfortable with how it is it worth putting the effort in to make it more complicated for something I'm never going to bother about? Because as it is, all I have to do is drop it into the rock launch script to update which rock I've selected. That's all that needs to do then. And then the sound effects will have the object which then can read what rock I have selected and pull the appropriate audio file based on that, which could still kind of work the same way if each of the rocks had their own audio file attached, because it would then pass it into the file which is then read. So it's not too much of a leap. So we'll do this this way. Do I need to do anything here? I don't think so. Maybe let's make one more audio clip and you can load it in. So current rock, current SFX. I love how these are always placed next to each other like this. Nice. That works quite well. So we do need some scripting here. Actually, this could be we don't need to make that public because we can expose it. So we can make that a private. We can do a public audio clip. Get current SFX. And go return current SFX. Now to determine what the current SFX is, we go switch current rock dot name. Oh, it's added the break-in. Nice. Now default will be current SFX equals SFX rock 1. So no matter what, if there's a problem, it's going to just bring in SFX1. Ah, every time. Case be rock underscore. My plan is a 5-track EP with 3 tracks released as singles with their own visualizers, 2 already out, 2 more filler-like tracks, and 2 besides these 5 tracks, my 2 8-bit from game as bonus tracks. Nice, sounds awesome. Let's copy this case. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now these aren't the names, so I have to go and grab the names. So this is where it becomes ununiversal in some ways. Like if I don't add it to this list, it will always play the rock sound regardless. That's fine. But I'd have to add it to this listing here and add it to the switch statement. And then it would have its own sound. But it would work universally without me having to... Well, the other code will work. This will work universally, the other code will work universally, but you can't select it unless I put work in it anyway. So the whole process isn't as universal as I'd like it to be, but if I build it from scratch, I'll probably have a master listing of the rocks with their own sounds, and I'll just add a whole rock object to a list. Excuse me, and that list will then get pulled from all these other things. But I didn't write it that way, so I'm having to do it a bit more long-winded. Do I actually have a listing of these rocks? I don't think I have I? Oh no, I do somewhere. It's in the projectile selection. There it is. So even this isn't as universal as it should be. So if I thought about it, there'll be ways I could do it. But the fact I've written it like this means it's not universal. So every time I want to add a new object, I'm going to have to go into 3 different places to make sure that new object is added rather than just adding it to one place and it universally just working, which will be the dream, but it's not a major thing. But I would like to add some more projectiles. As we talked in the past, it'd be funny to add certain things in there. We just need to change these numbers. So we've got rock 2, rock 3, rock 4, rock 5, rock 6, 7, 8. Let's create a rock attributes. Where's the audio? Audio. And for now, I'll put that into all of them. But now it gives me an opportunity to have different sounds if I do it this. And all I have to do is change it here and then it would apply. So this is kind of getting towards where I want it to be, where I just change one thing and it will work. Current rock doesn't have to be a thing, that's fine. But what I will need to do is go to rock as rock launch. Rock launch. So some of these don't need to be public anymore. They're more like debugging for me to see what's going on. Yeah, so all the debugging ones I'll keep at the bottom. Let's put it here. So public rock attributes as attributes. And then we set current rock get current rock. So attributes current rock equals current rock. Now we'll do the same down here. So not to upset it, I could change it so attributes.current rock is current rock, and I just lose that. But at the moment we'll store it in 2 places. So that's all that needs to do. If we come out of here, make sure we drag that in there. Rock attributes. Let's rename that to just rock attributes. Save, and before we forget, let's go back to level 1 and do the same there. So it's a rock, scripts, rock attributes. Okay, so that code's not going to break by doing that. Let's have a quick test of that actually. So that value there should actually update based on what we select. Well, it should change straight away actually. Type mismatch. Cannot be null. It's not running that, so that doesn't matter. Ah, because it's probably the current rock hasn't been selected, is it? So start, get current rock. If it is active, save its current rock. But then if none of them are active, so let's get current rock and then it resets the location. So get current rock is going to go through all the rocks, find that that one's active, assign it to the attribute. There's a pub deck as well. So I suppose if I can get this to work, I don't need to load in the rock into the projectile selection. I just have the rock attribute there. And I'll pull it from the rock attribute in here. Select rock. Which and transform? Okay, debug dot log, and let's do this. Current rock dot name. Save that. Save it here. Let's go in rock stone, which is fine. Rock stone. So current rock is named rock. So I guess current rock. Because that is... that's the only one that's active. So it should be pulling that anyway. And we've been streaming for just over 2 hours. So I might have to think about this one off stream. It's not behaving like I think it should be behaving. But yeah, once I've got this sorted out in different sounds, that's another thing that kind of improves the general playability. Everything feels more unique. Got to make some trigger points for the different objects that I can just place into the world. So like the barrels are a trigger object I've made to activate the barrel, so I need one for the crates, one for the chair. So yeah, so if I make a series of trigger objects, I can just place those randomly into levels, then that's not going to be too hard. That's a bit more of a fun bit. Other things that I still need to do then. So different sounds, trigger objects for unlocking different projectiles. I've already done the screen resizing, which is great. I need to digitally sign the XE before I put a new version on Discord. Is there anything else I'm missing? Probably change the music. Normalize the sound of music, actually. Get the sound levels right. So work out the sound levels, different audio files, find a way to store the currently selected rock, trigger objects for the projectiles. I think, is that all I need for the tweaks to the base mechanics then? And is that actually all features actually covered? I think that's all the basic features, and then I want to make the opening cutscene, and then it's making more levels then. But yeah, so a couple of tweaks, and then back to being creative, I think. So switch the camera. Cool, thank you all for joining us. I'm gonna have some thinking off stream as to what's gonna work best here. So it's not gonna be fun. You guys are sat here watching me stare at the screen, thinking. Because you can't hear my thoughts, and I can't always verbalize my thoughts out loud. So I think in patterns and not words. Anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been a pretty cool stream. We've made some progress. Doesn't feel like it, like Cubes earlier. Might not feel like you've made progress in some place, but we have. We've going offline. I am indeed. Gonna get some rest now and do some thinking. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for being here, Lisa. It's always awesome. Thank you, stream. No problem. Thank you both for being here. Thank you, Cubes, for the raid. Thank you everyone who's come over with Cubes, and thank you everyone who's been lurking. Next stream will be on Friday, where we hopefully should be able to do a bit more fun stuff. I want to tweak and improve the little bits on this now before we start throwing more fun things into it. But we'll get there, and then once I've worked those out, that's a tick that I can say I know how to do that now. Which is what I'm seeing this entire thing. It is just a big tick box to say, that's how we do that now. But, yep, I hope you all have a good rest of your week. I shall see you Friday. So until then, hope you have a good night, have a good rest, and I shall see you on Friday. Good night.